thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix. Welcome everybody to the Geek Matrix DC Comics Absolute Roundup for the month of May. Hello everybody. How's it
Howdy.
going? Howdy.
It's going.
My name is Rob, and I am here to talk to you about the glory of Darkseid.
All hell dark
Because
side.
Darkseid is. And joining me on this mission of mine, my wonderful co-hosts Josh
Hi.
and Brandon.
Hello, hello.
It's an early Saturday morning, far away from when we usually do podcasts, but we had some scheduling issues and lots of books. So here we are on a special Saturday morning edition of our Absolute Roundup on the Geek Matrix DC Comics Review Show. I'm ready. I'm having fun. I'm transforming some Transformers because it's Saturday morning. It feels apropos.
What are you gonna do? Saturday morning comics, Saturday morning cartoons.
Exactly. With that in mind, because we're not recording on a Thursday night and rushing at the show, I do want to bring up a topic you and I had last week, Josh, that
Uh-oh.
came up into my mind. And I want to ask Brandon the same question that I asked you. Would you ever
Alright.
consider a Transformer?
Would I ever consider a Transformer?
Well, I know you. I know your answer
Concept
because you and I
or-
talked about it last week. But Brandon,
Oh, like as a
as a
concept or as a toy?
figure,
Oh yeah. And I always wanted to get into them, but I never knew enough about it to really like know which ones to choose. It was just like, oh, that one looks cool.
right?
I remember years ago, there was a God, I can't like remember exactly what model it was. I remember getting it for like my birthday or something, even though I really had no context for who they were. But it was like a 2-pack of Jetfire and someone else.
Bastard.
Jetfire and like his brother or something. I don't know. I just remember it also came with a comic, and that was like one of the earliest comic books, not like a collected comic that I ever had.
Right on.
So yeah, no, I would.
Jetfire is a hell of a pull. I'm curious which one that was now.
Uh,
Jetfire is like a fan favorite figure.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. That was pretty easy to find.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
No, I asked because last week, Josh and I were talking collectibles, and I had my two Constructicons here, and I was explaining how Hasbro is releasing all 6 Constructicons throughout this year in sets of 3 waves. I have the first 2, and if you actually collect all 6, you are able to combine them into Devastator.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it's actually really fucking cool, and I can't wait. And Josh was like, Devastator's honestly awesome. And I think you said it was one of your favorites or something like that.
Yeah, back in the day it was pretty sick, man.
Oh, that's a weird design for Jetfire.
Yeah. That's just like etched in my memory. I mean, that's the only Transformer thing I ever had, but I always thought they were cool. Like,
Yeah.
I know my friend way back in like 4th grade had a bunch of Transformers and he could read them off, and I was just kind of like, that's cool.
Well, fair enough. I'm not trying to like convince you to buy any, but I'm just curious, making discussion because it was a topic we had, and like, I know you've kind of found a new appreciation for Transformers within the Skybound comics.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they've. Well, yeah, I know you mentioned the Constructicons, but yeah, I haven't looked into anything they put out recently, so you have to throw me some recommendations.
What's
Some more recommendations.
what would be, at least from what you know of right now, having read the Skybound comics and maybe some odd episodes of a cartoon or something you may have watched, what would you say right now is your favorite Transformer?
I mean, probably as basic as it is, probably Optimus Prime or Ratchet, maybe.
Oh, Ratchet's cool. Yeah. Fair enough.
It'd be cool to get a cool looking Starscream too.
Oh god, yeah. Starscream is one of my favorites.
Mm.
And there are so many cool looking Starscreams.
Yeah.
There's been not too long ago. I say not too long ago, something like 6 years ago at this point. They did Coronation Starscream from the '86 movie,
Oh, nice.
which came with a cape and a crown and a throne, and it was it's still transformed into a jet, but
Right.
like that was a really cool one.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, sorry, just slightly distracted myself. But yeah, no, that's some good choices. There's some really good Optimus Primes out right now.
Mm. I definitely want to look into that.
Yeah,
'Cause, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the design of Optimus Prime is just so classic.
it is.
So you guys have a thing for that.
It is, dare I say it, perfect.
Yeah. You dare. I don't think anyone would disagree with you.
Yeah, I easily dare. Can never remember where this goes. I just love the
Brandon, you're really
engineering on these
quiet.
things.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Oh,
All right. Well, that's our morning discussion for the day. I recommend this
Gridlock.
Optimus.
What's your favorite newer creation of Transformer? Rob?
Newer, oh god, I'm not caught up on newer creations. I don't know that there have been many newer creations, to be honest with you. Because like as far as I know, the newest creation might be Windblade, and that was, I want to say, Transformers animated something like 12 years ago. Apart from the Transformer, it was a new original design Transformer in the Skybound comics a couple months ago. That one's really cool. So,
Okay.
yeah, new designs I can't really say, but I really like the new one in Skybound comics. But I'm a big fan personally of Hot Rod, Jazz, and Starscream.
You're going to think I'm saying it wrong, but I'm not. There was a Transformer. You're going to think I'm talking about Grimlock, but I'm not. It's Gridlock.
Yeah, there was something called Gridlock. Let me just look it up really quick.
And he was cool as shit. But I feel like he was a newer one.
Excuse me.
Anyway.
Gridlock.
Not
Friend of
that
Cyclonus. He's in the IDW continuity. Okay, so yeah, it was new for IDW, but 2019 apparently he came out.
I saw pictures of him. I thought he was pretty sick.
Let's see if I can find more pictures, because the only picture I see so far is him missing an arm.
Well, that's not good.
Oh yeah, actually no, that's that. Okay, apparently yeah, the only images he has. He was a friend of Cyclonus before he died. He's missing an arm and has a giant hole in his head. These days, the only remnant of Gridlock is a hallucination of Cyclonus.
Well, then I think I might be thinking of somebody else. Is he a dump truck?
No,
Well, then I'm thinking of somebody.
the dump truck is Long Haul, if I remember correctly.
Anyway. Alrighty. Okay.
Uh,
Absolute comics. I know that I am going to be busy for the rest of the day with the brand new season of Marvel Rivals that has come out. Well, half
Right.
season 2.5. My kids are itching to get on that. They've both recently gotten into that video game Repo, which is Super
Yeah.
fun. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing this weekend. And then tomorrow we're going to be heading out and taking the kids to go see Lilo and Stitch.
Good choice.
So that should be fun. That should be fun.
Yeah. We took my daughter to go see Lilo and Stitch last night, and it was really good. I quite liked it.
Good news.
Yeah.
That's really good news. Glad about that for sure. Glad to hear that that was good, considering that I heard that Karate Kid needs some work.
Yeah, but I will say, Isaiah is very critical, and I think that's understandable, seeing as he wants to be a filmmaker.
Yeah, but like me and him usually agree on movies, which is
Fair enough.
usually,
Usually.
not everything. Some shit. He just has bad taste. So we'll see. But yeah. Other than that, not a lot going on. Anything going on in your neck of the woods, Brandon?
Nothing new. I'm mostly just kind of trying to take it easy, so I can completely knock out this cold.
Great.
Midtown Comics has been relentless with these fucking sales. Like I'm dying here because I'm just like I'm against my better judgment. I know I shouldn't, but I find myself on the train to Astoria anyway.
Walk it up to the counter with 7 issues, and you're like, this officially puts me on ramen for a month. But it's worth it.
It's gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna get 10. I'm just gonna get 15. I'm not gonna go over. It's like buying groceries. You have to what is it? You have to over budget because
Yes.
I just know against all better judgment and proper impulses, I'm gonna go overboard. So I don't know. I gotta fight my demons, but they're doing 50% off of their 99-cent bin. So you do the math on that. But basically,
Right.
it's mega cheap. I already have a bunch of stuff that I haven't read. I don't need anything new, but I don't know.
I know the next time I go to St. Louis, I'm going to fuck off with what money I've got and go find their largest comic book store. I haven't been to a big city comic book store in forever, and I'm not driving to Atlanta to do it.
Well, I wish you were here with me. We would tear it up. It'd be great.
Oh my God! If I was near Midtown Comics, homie, I would be. I'd live that. I'd be on sodium medication from all the ramen I would have to eat to be able to afford all that shit from Midtown, man. Oh my!
Like a way I could. They wouldn't let me bring a camera in there, but I could go to one of those, 50% off sales and just like, I don't know, just have you go through the bins with me.
That one,
"Alright,
that one,
what
that
do you
one,
want?"
that one.
That one. It's like, all right.
No cameras, eh? That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. I think it's just like to respect other people's privacy.
That's fair.
Unless you're like a influencer or something, of which there are a surprising amount. There's a lot of Instagram content of people just going into Midtown Comics and being like, I had a great time. So,
Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised about that.
yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I guess we could probably go ahead and start talking about the things we came here to talk about, and those are comics, absolutely, and absolute comics. Namely, all of the Absolute books came out this week, which are Absolute Batman number 8, Absolute Superman number 7, Absolute Green Lantern number 2, Absolute Flash number 3, Absolute Wonder Woman number 8, and Absolute Manhunter number 3. And to kick it off, we'll do it with me, Absolute Batman. There you go, Nick Dragotta. Absolute Batman number 8, written by Scott Snyder, art from Marcos Martin, colors from Muntza Vincente, and lettering from Clayton Cowles, and a cover from Nick Dragotta with Frank Martin. 100% Dragotta there. So, this. Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, my notes just scrolled all the way up to the top there.
Oh.
So what happens here is Bruce wakes up in Victor Jr.'s cryo lab attached to a machine that will do the whole Mr. Freeze thing. The difference here is Freeze froze Nora to preserve life. Junior here is doing it to cause people pain. They don't die, they just feel pain. As Junior leaves to go report to whoever it is that he's working for about how he's made it so that his boss can collect data on anyone the snow touches. Wow. Meanwhile, Bruce is in the lab breaking free. He grabs a bat suit from somewhere and then pops back in, blood slushy and him still in pain. The other people in the tank, the rich and the elite that thought they were being frozen for the future, are released by Junior, and they all go after Batman without care, and they squish when he punches them. Fun.
Lovely.
While that's going on, the people who are doing the data collection kidnap Waylon. And that is the book. I think it's a pretty cool story. I like this arc and how it's going
Cool, you
more
say?
so than how it Pedumtus. I think I like how this is going better than I like the kickoff of the first arc. I feel a little bit better about it. That's good. That is right in my ear, Robert.
Sorry. I didn't realize that was that loud.
I'm interested, but if I'm honest, the art makes it hard to stay that way. It's just not good. Faces go from chiseled to my 600-pound life and right back again. Proportions are weird, details get muddy, and even the colors are different. Like the first half of the book is super muted. The second half of the book is so brightly colored, it's almost like it belongs in the Martian Manhunter book. It's kind of done in the wrong places. And color choices don't make sense either. There's one where Batman is sliding down a building and it looks like he's got green lightning shooting off of him. There's just bad art choices, which killed this issue. And it did it with prejudice. If not for that, this would have scored a lot higher. But I have to give Absolute Batman number 8 a 6.5 out of 10.
Damn.
This is bad. Get Dracoda back in there. I like him better than this shit.
Yeah, it is very noticeable that the art has taken a bit of a dip. I don't hate it, but it is noticeably absent of the charm that the first arc had.
Every face, especially Bruce's, looks like it's been pancaked flat. There's like no depth to it. That's my issue. Everybody looks like they got a circle for a head.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rather taken with the way Mr. Freeze was designed and drawn in this. I think that character specifically is where this artist has excelled. But you are right that everything else took a bit of a dip. Yeah. Which is a shame. But I didn't hate it enough to have it drop that low for me, because I'm really taken with this story. I think this reimagining of Victor Freeze is fantastic. It's very, very interesting. And that it's even like a new take on cryogenics, that you feel everything. It's constant pain for years. And
no thanks.
That's insane. I love that. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm gonna give this 7.75.
Wow. Now, yeah, again, let me reiterate. I like the story. It's just this art just isn't agreeing with me much.
That's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Family Circle.
I don't know what that is.
Brandon, do you know what Family Circle is?
Wait, is that a comic strip from newspapers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it reminds me of that kind of art, and it just doesn't seem to be working well here. But in any case,
that's
I've
unfortunate.
bitched enough.
I love Marcos Martin. I think most of the stuff that he's done is pretty brilliant, and I do like his work in this book, but I can admit that it is a bit of an awkward fit, because in terms of how Nick Dragotta draws stuff versus Marcos Martin, and I just think the designs don't connect as well between the two different art styles. So it's unfortunate, but I don't know. Aside from that, I mean, I still enjoy it, and I like what's coming next. Although I'm still a little iffy about them potentially morphing Waylon into just a standard version of Killer Croc. Like, I hope if they do end up doing some kind of experimentation on him, it's at least unique, you know, because I would hate for it to just become yet another kind of standard version of Killer Croc. Be a little bit creative with it. But no, I mean, aside from that, I give it like an 8 out of 10. I don't know. I'm not as down on Marcos Martin's stuff. Maybe that's because I do have a little bit of a bias, but I do agree that some of it is a little ill-fitting.
See, and that's the thing, is it's not even quite so much that the art is bad. It's just, it is not for this book. It was just like, I guess this feels like the completely wrong choice. It's like having Berserker drawn by the peeps who do My Little Pony. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So like, it's not that like his art is bad. It's just not here. So when I said that earlier, that was poor word choices, but yeah.
No, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was Absolute Batman, and I crapped on it. Brandon, how did you feel about Absolute Superman?
I rather enjoyed it, but I guess I should probably give it a little summary before I talk about my review. But Absolute Superman number 7, brought to us by one Jason Aaron, with art from Carmine Di Giandomenico, colors by Ulysses Areola, and letters by Becca Carey. Very straightforward issue, but essentially Absolute Superman number 7 is the origin of the Absolute Brainiac, following an opening montage where the Omega Men try to break into Brainiac's experimentation lab, or whatever we're calling it. This Brainiac reveals his origins, going all the way back to a far-off place you may or may not have heard of. It's not Kolu, but it's definitely got its origins rooted there. If you know, you know. And this Brainiac is a part of something called the Collective, in which he basically serves one single function, and that is to scoop dead bodies forever. But quickly realizes that those dead bodies are, well, Brainiacs. And as he spends years and years just shoveling and shoveling, he begins to lose his sanity, gradually thinking and imagining a life where maybe he might one day serve the Collective. But after about 49,000 days, he no longer receives any bodies to shovel, and so eventually makes his way out of the incinerator area to explore the rest of the ship, realizing that all the Brainiacs who would normally command him are now dead, giving him the license to take over the ship and basically make himself the prime Brainiac. So we cut back to Earth, where Brainiac calls a meeting of the new collective of Brainiacs to inquire about the mysterious character known as the Superman. Initially, they're dismissive of it and have no such answers to reveal, except for one mysterious voice that reveals that his origins trace back to Krypton, and provide him with a sample of Krypton's own elemental core that he can use to analyze and hopefully come up with some kind of countermeasure for Superman, which we see him synthesize a little bit later, something that looks pretty much like kryptonite. In our last moments, we see Brainiac experimenting with one Christopher Smith, aka Peacemaker Smith, who he is gearing up to get ready for quite a big showdown that's about to happen in a mysterious place called Kansas. That's where our issue ends. It's, I think, very fitting that we just had the origin of Absolute Freeze, and that was very horrific and chilling and everything in between. And this one almost seems to match it with an equal amount of horror and intensity, because seeing this version of Brainiac basically descend into madness. I mean, still kind of questioning his purpose and his role from the beginning, but after a very long period of time, just completely losing his sanity was quite disturbing to see. And so this is, I think, the strength of having these new reinventions where you can have someone like Brainiac, whose origin is usually pretty contained, just be completely unleashed and made maniacal here. So I love it, and I feel like Gian Domenico was the perfect choice for this particular origin story, because he's really able to dig into the gross, visceral nature. Like, there's a lot of corpses in this issue. I'm not sure
Yes.
how much you noticed that. But
Yeah.
not even just the fact that he's shoveling Brainiac corpses for, you know, 49,000
Days.
years, but like right from the beginning, we see someone puking out their guts, like the entirety of it, from
Puking
the
out
Omega
their
Men.
bones.
Yeah, so it's a very visceral issue, as I said. So I feel like he was the perfect fit for that, and
Hell
really
yeah.
brought to life the more disgusting aspects of it. But yeah, no, I really dug this one, and it has me excited for what kind of plans Brainiac has for Kansas and how he might go after Superman. So I gave this one very strong 8.5 out of 10, and greatly looking forward to how the next arc is going to kick things off in a big way.
Well, before I let Rob go, I gotta ask. You said if you know where they were at, but not Kulo, not Kolu.
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
where?
it's they don't say it, but it's pretty obvious that this is one of the, because I mean they're flying one of the Brainiac Explorer ships, so I would assume that they're coming from Kolu.
Okay.
Like
Gotcha.
my guess is the collective is either based on Kolu, because you see a bunch of other Brainiacs later in the issue, or
Mhm.
they're just like all kind of scattered in their own ships across the universe, but they're all on a mission from Kolu. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
It's absolutely insane.
they don't
They're
say
like
it,
the,
but I feel like it's very heavily implied.
they're like the Borg.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And Peacemaker's getting assimilated. Yeah. All right, Rob. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was a crazy issue.
It really was.
What the fuck? Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was dark and grim and fascinating and exciting and all sorts of other adjectives I could think of. For an absolute Superman book that basically didn't have Superman in it at all, one of my
Right.
favorite issues of the entire run. And that's not a knock against the character of Superman. That's just how good this book is. The story they're crafting, the plot that's brewing, and the potential that's coming. It's just fantastic. This Brainiac is unlike any Brainiac we've ever seen before. This is a much more unhinged Brainiac. This is a much deadlier Brainiac. This is a Brainiac that would give the
Has a-
Joker a run for his money in terms of insanity, I think.
Funny that you said that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a lot less intelligent as well.
I mean, to a certain degree, he did start out as like kind of a grunt worker, but I think the the longer this Brainiac goes, the smarter he gets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as he well assimilates information, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So definitely like
definitely not the Brainiac that we're used to.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
not the smartest Brainiac we've ever seen, but this is still a Brainiac that might be the smartest being in the universe.
Mm-hmm. But
That's-
I think is scoffed at by the collective, and this is going back to something you said a while ago, Rob, about how this book is kind of focused on the class disparity or class struggle.
Yeah.
Like the reason that they don't
It's
respect
class warfare.
him isn't because he's not smart or because he doesn't have a legitimate query. It's because he doesn't have a status. They're
Yeah.
like, who the fuck are you? Like, you're just you don't have a Brainiac title.
Yeah,
So why should we
Right.
take you seriously?
exactly. Until one person speaks up, is like, wait, Krypton,
Yeah.
and then goes back to, now who the fuck are you? Why should we be giving you this information? Yeah, that's I forgot about that. Yeah, it's a good pull. Yeah, this whole theme is class warfare, and yeah, it's even more shown in this issue. Yeah, that shit that bumps my score up. I forgot about that little tidbit. Art was fantastic. I actually felt for this Brainiac a little bit till we got to the end and he started smashing jars. Then fuck this guy. This is getting fuck. It bumped it up to a 9 now that you bring the class warfare up.
My dudes, I don't even know. This is like, well, it's funny you said that earlier, Bob, because I feel like this is almost like Brainiacs mixed with the Joker in a way. Not quite, but I get like that feeling from it, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not sure why I'm getting that Joker vibe, but it is there. Like, yeah, I can't wait to read more. This was brutal. It was well written and Superman free, which I thought was weird, but it served this story so good.
Yep.
What a weird fucking Brainiac, but I love it. This is
Yeah.
It's not only is it all of the things that we've already said, but this is a far less predictable Brainiac. So there's no telling where this is going to go. The art is good, great. I mean, no, hell, this art is fantastic, and this well-written new take on Brainiac has me excited to read Brainiac, and that's been a while. It's been a minute where my favorite Brainiac is the one from the Harley Quinn animated series. This has fixed that. Thank you. The book continues as recent. Like, anyway, not altogether. The book continues to push out good stuff. I will say the raid against Brainiac was pretty damn disgusting, but done so very well. This was great. 8 out of 10, man.
Yeah.
8.25 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Solid stuff. Really solid stuff.
Super solid. Almost like a light construct.
Yeah. Which I don't think we've seen yet in Absolute Green Lantern #2, and nearly said Superman. This is brought to us by writer Al Ewing with art, color, and cover from Janoy Lindsay and letters from Lucas Catoni. So, we semi-pick up where we left off last issue, where Joe Moline has shown up to the diner that Hal Jordan, along with his Black Hand, kind of wrecks the place. And then we very quickly jump back to the period in their hometown, which the name escapes me now, where Abin Sur showed up. And this Abin Sur, not the Abin Sur you're accustomed to. It's more of a roided out Arnold Schwarzenegger-esque Saint Walker with 4 arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if Machoke and Abin Sur, or Machoke and Saint Walker did the fusion dance and started calling himself Abin Sur.
Yeah.
This
kinda reminds me
is.
of Mewtwo.
Well, I say
feel
Machoke
more like
because of
this
the
is
4
what
arms.
would happen if
Yeah.
Goku and Earthworm Jim had a baby.
That
Am I wrong?
that's fucked up. I need you to take that back. that shit ain't right.
Let's
Anyway,
go.
yeah, yeah. This really cool version of Abin Sur lands in the town, and Sheriff Guy Gardner, along with his deputies, get right up to him to try and figure out what's going on. Guy Gardner, against what we usually know him to be, decides to start this off with diplomacy, and then Abin Sur raises his hand and shows off some green energy, so the officers get a little scared, pull out their guns, and that's when Guy gets completely disintegrated by Abin Sur. He is just dead. And as Hal says when in the diner where him and Joe were talking, that's when the screaming started. Because then the deputies open fire. Rita, who is actually a friend, excuse me, of our intrepid heroes, gets her head slashed off by Evan Sir, and then the other deputy, who tries to get revenge, gets his hand cut off, the hand that was holding the gun. He's left screaming. Hal picks up the gun, points it at Evan Sir. Joe and John talk him down because, hey, you saw what just happened to officers who were trained with guns. You don't know how to use one. You're going to try and fucking use that? Be smarter. Make good choices. Right?
Better choices.
He puts the gun down, and Abin Sur flies off right before saying to John Stewart, be without fear. So he flies off. The group kind of regroups, and then we jump back to the diner where Hal and Joe are talking about how Joe has the green energy on her thanks to a ring on her finger, and Hal's got this black hand, but it also is holding the same gun that was once Officer Rita's. And the black hand is also trying to take over his mind. It's telling him where to go, what to do, and when he gets attacked, it defends him, rather in a deadly fashion. And he doesn't want to listen to it, but it keeps telling him that he was right. So there's that to look forward to. And then we get a little bit of epilogue after the credits page at the end of the issue, flashing back to just after Abin Sur took off. Joe, John, and Hal head back to Alan Scott's Atom Bomb Cafe and Diner to talk about the day's events. And John comes out with an idea about the green energy that's happened with the alien judgments. And he said, so if it comes to it, do we want to take Abin Sur out of the equation? Because I think I know what can do it, as he holds up a wedding ring. To be continued. And I don't know about you guys, I'm just going to point it out, and let me friggin' pull up the actor's name really quick.
Okay.
Because that very last page with... Okay, that's the actor's name. Yeah, with John's face, like, right there, looks a lot like Sterling K. Brown to me. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I feel like that might have been Janoy Lindsay's inspiration for John Stewart here. And
Perhaps.
to me, that's fucking perfect. I would love it if Sterling K. Brown played John Stewart. I think he'd knock it out of the park. But that's just a little side note. The art, I think, is fantastic throughout. There's a lot of violent, bloody scenes, kind of some gory moments, and it really doesn't detract from the book. It doesn't make it feel like a horror book. It just makes it feel like very fucked up and not scary, but tense. Janoy Lindsay is a master of the pencil with this book. The colors alone are subtle and entertaining, if that makes sense. And the story is quite fascinating. This being an absolute book, you're getting reimaginings of the characters, and I like the way these characters have been reimagined so far. The personalities are very different. Like, I've never seen Guy Gardner be such a peaceful cop before, but here we are. Right? Hal is very subdued. Joe and John don't seem too different yet, but we've yet to see too much more of them so far. I really like the direction this book is taking.
Didn't they call Joe an architect?
I thought it was John, but I could be wrong. Might have been Joe.
I thought
think it's
it.
in the first issue that she had been a cop, but she left the force.
Yeah, that was because I think she was married to Guy Gardner, which also, what the fuck? That's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating little book. 2 issues deep. We haven't got too much plot yet, but the plot we do have is hella interesting. So this is getting an 8.75 out of 10.
Right on. Well, I'll give mine next. So I guess Abin Sur is like the Spectre now. Just kidding. I don't think that's what's going on here. But, he is casting out a lot of judgment, and they do keep saying the green level of light, nothing about the core or anything. So that's very curious. Joe got powers and looks super cool, by the way. Hal is the Black Hand and looks super cool, by the way. Abin Sur is a dick and was naked, and that doesn't look cool, by the way. John got judged but ended up with no
Looked
powers.
pretty cool.
He looked like Earthworm Jim and Goku had a baby. This is
Earthworm Jim and Goku had a baby.
this is so damn interesting. I want to watch the whole damn story on screen
Yep.
right now, and this could be such a fucking movie. I love this so far. 2 issues in, and I am glued. Just what in the hell even is a Green Lantern? I wish there was a tiny bit more in this issue, just something giving us some kind of inclination as to what the hell is going on here. But I know that the mystery and the weight of it and the way it's affecting all of these people has me glued. Like I'm watching a TV show and I don't even know what the fucking name of it is. What I do know is that this gets an 8.25 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Not too much else to say, other than was not expecting Guy Gardner to get atomized in the second issue. Kind of unfortunate,
that's
but
a fucking bummer.
if there's anything I know about Al Ewing, there may be more to the story. So
Yeah.
I'm not ruling him out completely yet. But very exciting stuff. No idea what trick John has up his sleeve with that ring reveal at the end, but yeah, I'm here to see it. I like the art. I'm not in love with the art, not as much I think as the other Absolute books, but there are some very great designs, I think, and that's what's really holding up the book for me right now. Like the visual.
I do like the
aesthetic
redesigns
the-
of everybody. Those are really good.
Yeah, I mean no one's really in any like costumes or anything yet, so we've
No,
yet
not-
to
I
see
mean,
that. But yeah, I
People
mean
look
everyone
different.
looks cool. But yeah, I feel like it's still playing it fairly safe as compared to some of the other design or some of the other artwork from the Absolute book. So I'm just waiting for it to really like cut loose.
I'll give you that. I mean, I'm looking at a page of Hal Jordan in a bomber jacket. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
doesn't
that's
look like the
something
same Hal
we've seen
Jordan, but
before.
he's wearing a bomber jacket.
Yeah, I mean, save for the black hand, like we've seen Hal in that classic bomber jacket a million times, so it's nothing new. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll have some cool design for the whole black hand costume, assuming he keeps that.
Well, that's the thing. I have a feeling these characters are not going to develop your typical superhero and supervillain costumes.
Mm.
I feel like their abilities are going to be what sets them apart, and that's it.
Interesting.
And they're just going to be in civilian clothes the whole time.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
that might be kind of a disappointment. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna want to see Green Lantern costumes. Damn it!
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
that
it
and,
could
like,
show up in like some form of this green swirling light that constantly appears around Joe. But I mean, Rob's right. At this point, it might not show up or turn into a costume.
I mean, Abin
Although-
Sur was
yeah.
completely naked.
Yeah.
That's
There's
my
a
tell.
very famous interview from Stanley where he talks about the first issue of Fantastic Four when it came out, and everybody loved it, and people were so excited. But the number one complaint was, why don't they have costumes? Superheroes need costumes, and if they don't have costumes, I'm not going to keep buying it. So all I'm saying is, yes, there are plenty of characters who have had very stripped back costumes, but I'm not going to lie, with a line of books that each character has a very iconic look to them, I hope Green Lantern has a little bit more up its sleeve than just, them in like street clothes.
Right.
That's just me.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yep. Agreed.
I think that was all of us, right? So we're gonna speed on over to our next book.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
Look at that. God, he looks so young. Absolute
Yeah.
Flash number 3, written by Jeff Lemire, art inside and out from Nick Robles and Adriano Lucas, with lettering from Tom Napolitano. The Rogues, or whatever we want to call them right now, is after Wally sent by the military and partly by his dad. They can't seem to catch him, so they unleash Grodd, the psychedelic spider monkey. He goes after Wally and psychically links to him, as Grodd is wont to do, which is how Grodd would take him down. But he sees that Wally and him have many similarities. Grodd says Wally and Grodd, Grodd and Wally, same. And a friendship is born. They escape together back to the cave where Wally has been hiding out. When he ran from the lab, he actually pulled Barry behind him, but not in a good way. Barry died in a very horrifying way as it was being pulled behind Wally as he ran. Now with Grodd by his side, Wally's ready to stop running and start running, or at least, not for the wrong reasons anyway. He gathers Barry's costume, dons it, and Grodd and Wally go out for a run. That's the issue. Art's fantastic. In this issue, Robles and Lucas are working flash magic, and Lemire, the writing god that he is, delivers another great issue. This is tragic, as is always the case for a Flash. It's why we always want something happy for them. We know we're not going to get it. But it's so new, it's so different, it's so emotionally involved that you can't read this book and not like it. At least I can't, and if you can't, I don't get that. Big fan here so far. Now that Wally has gotten past the start, the introduction to the whole story, he's accepted who he is. I can't wait to see what comes next, because now it's time for shit to really take off. 8 out of 10.
Brandon?
Oh, I was like, I thought you were talking. You were just muted. No, I definitely enjoyed this issue, but the one gripe that I had, because I would say I enjoyed about like 75% of it, and then the one gripe, the one thing that I felt like was just too abrupt, and I hope does not become a recurring problem throughout subsequent issues, is that Wally's turn at the end was just very sudden. Like, he spends most of the issue freaking out, as he's been doing, which is natural. He's still getting adjusted to the powers. And then, like, within the last 5 or even 4 pages, he's just like, you know what? Actually, I'm done being scared. I'm just going to run forward, which is a cool character moment, but I feel like it should have, that should have been, like, this transition needed an extra issue, not to drag it out, but just to give it a little bit more space where Wally has that proper realization, and it's not like, oh, okay, well, I'm cool now, I'm gonna put on the costume and go. Like, I'll fight off the rogues, grab Barry's suit, and then I'm gone, and I could start running forward. So, like, all of the other stuff, very good. All the other character moments worked well for me, but that just, I got to the end of the issue, and I was like, dang, that felt really sudden. Like, they just wanted to close off the arc as quickly as they could. So I don't know. Like, I enjoyed it. I just wish it hadn't ended that point of Wally's character arc so abruptly, because it would have been nice to have him have a more, in my opinion, natural transition from I'm terrified by my new powers to no, I really need to own up to this and just move forward. So I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Like, still really solid, but I just I feel like that wasn't really as natural as it should have been for me to enjoy it.
Guy.
Right on.
And I get where you're coming from. It's it would, honestly, it would have done more for the character if that realization did take longer than 4 pages. Can't disparage that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this take on Wally. It's I'm not trying to make a pun here, but it does feel like the drama and tension kind of passed by rather quickly. So I see where you're coming at, Brandon. Like, it's only issue 3, and he's already just kind of like gone past all the trauma, right? That was just, it was kind of sudden. And I thought there would be at least another, like, this issue would be mostly about him fighting the rogues, or at least fighting Grodd, and then issue 4
Mhm.
would be him fighting more of the rogues, and then by issue 5 he'd come into his own as a hero.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is. I'm excited to see him in the suit. I I don't want Wally to be down on himself, but I do hope we get to see him having to struggle just a little bit more with this new concept he's got to live with. Um, the rogues are fascinating. Grodd is crazy, uh, and I like that Grodd and Wally have formed a bond. That's a nice little twist on this mythos as well. So with that in
Yep.
mind, the art is fantastic. I trust in Lemire with this. It's going to get an 8.5 out of 10.
Right on, right on, right on. All right. Well, I guess that carries us over to the next.
Yeah, what do you wonder about that?
Yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman number 8, the start of a new arc, brought to us by Kelly Thompson doing the writing, art by Hayden Sherman coming back, Jordi Belair on colors, and letters from Becca Carey. We open somewhere outside of Gateway City where Wonder Woman is preparing a ritual to basically send off a bunch of animals and find information on the Amazons, her sisters. What happened to them? We know they were supposedly obliterated by the gods, but where did they go? Where were they shut off to? But before we can get any answers for that, we cut to an undisclosed location in the United States where one Veronica Cale, acting on behalf of the government, meets with a character familiar to Wonder Woman fans who remember the movie from like 7 years ago, which is crazy to say. One Dr. Poison, or at least this new version of Dr. Poison, who basically lives in a giant containment suit as they have a
A la
non-corporeal form. Yeah.
Similar,
And
anyway.
Veronica is there bearing gifts, more specifically a flash drive containing the audio of the Tetraside's vocal patterns, for which Dr. Poison is very inspired and hopefully will use to innovate a little bit more. But also receives the news from one of the guards at this prison that Dr. Poison has requested some outside time just to get out and do some experimentation, which Veronica approves. We cut back to the outskirts of Gateway City, where Wonder Woman is preparing her ritual. And we see the whole process of that and the creation or manifestation of some kind of base or meeting place or whatever you want to call it, called the Hieron, which they're going to get settled into, as this will seemingly be Wonder Woman's new base of operations. But they're interrupted in their moment of socialization and reprieve as Wonder Woman hears a sound that chills her to her bone, makes her way back to Gateway City, and realizes that someone has not only weaponized the Tetraside, but mass-produced the sound of the Tetraside using technology. Naturally, she's pissed, but is able to follow the source of it, although initially she uses some magic to basically draw all of the mechanized spiders emitting the Tetraside's voice to her, and then goes after the source of the problem. She's pissed and is ready to throw hands, and sees Dr. Poison upon arriving at this unfinished skyscraper. But before she can even land the first blow, Dr. Poison reveals that she has information that might be helpful to Wonder Woman, and says that she knows where she can find an Amazon. It's a pretty bombshell cliffhanger to end on, because that has very much been the mystery of this series. What the hell happened to the Amazons? So yeah, easily spoilers. My favorite issue of this week. Absolute Wonder Woman continues to blow my mind. But seeing this newer version of Dr. Poison, seeing the manifestation of the Hieron, and also of course the last page reveal of Dr. Poison has information on the Amazons, which may be a lie, we don't really know, but definitely has me super excited. Honestly, because what I love so much about the Absolute line is how committed they've been to reinventing new things. Not everyone has gone completely top-down reinventions, but it has me excited for, like, what does an absolute Amazon even look like? we have this new version of Dr. Poison. It's a gaseous form. But what does an absolute Amazon look like? What if it's not even a human form? What if it's like a bunch of light beings or something, you know? Like
There's no
I'm
telling.
so interested in that mystery, and I hope that we can get an answer to that with this arc, because it's very possible the Amazons are not what we expect them to be. So
Mhm.
yeah, super on board. Continue to love the art, and Hayden Sherman is just blowing my mind with some of these panels, especially with the reveal of Doctor Poison's gaseous form as it's like emitting from the suit. So cool. So 8.75 out of 10 for me. Just incredible.
It's fantastic stuff. My first reaction when I saw that last page was like, maybe Veronica Kale is an Amazon here.
Mm,
But I'm not sold on that theory myself. It's
mm,
just like Dr. Poison doesn't seem to be able to interact with many people outside of Veronica Kale, if
mm.
any people at all outside of Veronica Kale. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is in my top three of absolute books in general. Still, the reinventions here are fantastic. I love this direction for Wonder Woman. I love that she's a magic user, especially having been tied to magic and mythology for many decades now, as it is, being even a leader of Justice League Dark.
Mm,
Not being a magic user in the main continuity run herself, but here's like
yeah.
perfectly suited to it. I love it. Um, I really don't have many more notes beyond everything Brandon already mentioned. It's a fantastic run so far. It continues to get better. I'm excited to see where this new arc is going to go. This is getting a 9 out of 10.
Oh yeah, dude. Um, what do you even say?
Right?
Wonder Woman continues to knock it out of the park and provide a master class on how to write a Wonder Woman book. So the thing is, like with this title, none of the others, not really, but with this title, like the rest of the Absolute books are completely different personalities, basically. Superman is an exception in a way. He's still a good person, but who he is and his motivations and what's gone on has changed. Not Diana. This is the exact same Diana we've seen since we started reading comics, just a different set of circumstances. And this is how you write Diana. This is how you write Wonder Woman. This world, this story and origin, this is Wonder Woman. I don't care if she's the daughter of Hippolyta or the daughter of Circe. I fucking love it. This is my favorite absolute book title still. The art is so very good. Hayden Sherman is just as just as much a reason for the success of this book as Kelly Thompson is. Um, I love it. Now we get to dig into whatever this new version of Dr. Poison is and where that's going. I am totally sold. 8.5 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Now, I said that Wonder Woman, as opposed to all the other ones, hasn't changed shape, but the next one here is kind of famous for it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Speaking of a complete reinvention.
yeah. Yeah. Oh. Let's get into Absolute Martian Manhunter number 3. This is written by Dennis Camp, with art from Javier Rodriguez and letters from us, Hassan Asmani Alho. I had the cover from Javier Rodriguez as well. The cover is exactly what you're getting in the book, so if you love the cover, you're gonna love the book. It's God, I want to rave about this art all the time. So we kick off with homeless people all across the city are being burned alive by random people who are discovered to have fog around their heads when it happens. Um, this fog kind of takes over their personality a little bit. They don't consciously commit this act, but at the same time, how they remember doing it is they just have this sudden urge, or like they already think they're doing it, or various many other reasons of just muscle memory, if you will, and it kind of just happens, seemingly against their will. Um, Understandably so, the homeless people across the city and across the neighborhoods are very scared and come to every crime scene to see a fallen friend. Um, which leaves us with Detective John Jones and his partner for the case to try and solve it. However, his partner, as John can read his mind thanks to Jean Jones, is not really up to snuff on this job, and John thinks that maybe he might need a career change. Um, so John continues to investigate things by himself for now. However, as he gets home later on, after a day of questioning people, um, the alien in his mind kind of fucks with him a little bit, and he sees all sorts of random alien beings in various colors just attacking each other on his front lawn. So all his wife sees is him tiptoeing across the lawn and talking to himself. And now his wife is kind of questioning things. Maybe he's just got a little bit too over the deep end. Maybe this isn't working out. Maybe he's been a bit too selfish, bringing them all the way to this new city and not even talking to them about it. Maybe this marriage is failing. Even his son won't talk to him much, so he does go to try and talk to his son Tyler, but just as he enters the room, he gets a phone call, and this is when shit goes haywire. The town is on fire. So he heads there as soon as he can. Um, Fires are being put out all over the place, but he heads into a building to try and stop stuff, or at least save as many people as he can, because thanks to the Martian in his head, he has some abilities of his own, we discover. He's able to kind of move between spaces. He runs into a burning building that is currently on fire, while the people are being attacked by their own minds, seeing visions, colorful visions of things that have given them fear or taken over their lives or what brought them down to the dumps in the first place. He enters the building, catches them, and is able to teleport them through non Euclidean space, which I forgot to look up a proper definition of. I haven't grasped, but I was going to definition it for this show, and I completely forgot to do that.
I'm
But
sorry, definition for what?
Non-Euclidean space, which, if I remember right, is like the space between atoms.
Um,
Interesting.
is it?
I could be wrong. That's just a rough definition from what I'm remembering, but I meant to look it up just to double check, and I completely forgot to.
But regardless, continue.
Yeah. So he's able to teleport people out of the building through shortcuts through non-Euclidean space. Um, but then he gets stuck in the building after teleporting the last person out because he sees a ghostly visage, a woman made out of smoke, as his partner arrives to the crime scene. Finds out that Jones is inside the building and is trying to get him out. However, a person that is on fire comes running out and lands right in front of his partner, so which he starts to question if he needs to change professions too, because this is just a little too much. John begins to talk to the smoke woman, but the smoke woman just wants to talk to the Martian inside his head, and reveals that this whole thing, most people think it's about the fire, but it's not. It's about the smoke.
Non-Euclidean is like non-parallel or non-2D. It's where things go crazy and,
Okay.
and lines make new
Non
things.
2D. Okay. So it's even crazier than I thought. Right. Yeah, so it's not about the fire, it's about the smoke. And then she reveals his name, Jean Jones. So there's a bit more to this Martian in John Jones's head than we previously thought possible. It's not just a tumor like Tony Stark had in the Ultimate Universe.
Not a tumor.
It's not some random schizophrenic episode he's having. This is a real concept. This is a real thing that's happening. And we have so many questions, or at least I have so many questions about the direction of this book and what exactly is the absolute Martian mindfucker. But I love this book. This jumps off into a mystery. And I love that direction for this. This is getting back to classic Martian Manhunter, solving mysteries as Detective John Jones, and this is feels right at home for the character. Um, I love this story. I love what they've done with the character and the personality of Jean's, uh, being a little not happy-go-lucky, but like just at peace at all times, if that makes sense, right? It's just he's very much, let's just get to it. When John is driving around, you see John's just like dancing around or like tapping his fingers or like doing some crazy shit. He's very like on the go and very at peace at all times while solving murders and mysteries. It's fantastic. The art is fantastic. I mentioned that before we even started talking about the book. If you like this cover, you're going to love the interiors. It is colorful, it is wild, it is oddly simple in its complexities. It's fuck. I could rave about it all the live long day, but we ain't got time for that. I got shit to do today. So with that, I'm just gonna finish off because I could talk about it, and take up both your reviews, but I'm gonna share the space. 9.5 out of 10.
What did you think, Brendan?
Yeah, 9.25 out of 10 for me, easily. Just I mean, I don't know. It is the highest rated this week, although I did like enjoy Absolute Wonder Woman a little bit more. But again, just to my point about these books really going all in, pun intended,
Yeah.
on trying to do renovate or reimaginings of classic concepts. This book is absolutely just going full force with that. So this idea of the White Martian not just being a flipped evil version of regular Green Martians, and wanting to infiltrate whatever society a la JLA. This one almost seems more drawn to like misery and pain, and they haven't fully gone into the like motivation of the White Martian. I know they talked about the smoke, but my impression is that it's specifically feeding on our society, on Earth society, because everyone is so miserable, and it makes it easier to prey upon them. So I don't know how much they're going to go into there, but that's just like my theory for why the White Martian is so drawn to us, because we kind of saw that in the last issue too. But just absolutely incredible, so creative, and the art is like I've been raving about Javier Rodriguez forever, so this is just him at his absolute best.
If I'm being honest here, I am the exact opposite of you guys.
Oh no.
I want to like it. It's Martian Manhunter. I still don't even know what the fuck it is I'm reading. I noticed that there were two things that were in common with both of your guys' comments, and that's my theory, and I think we are on issue 3, and I don't even know who the character is yet. Is it a consciousness? Is it a person being with mind control abilities? Is it John Johns and he doesn't know? I don't even know who the character is yet. I know and I understand the incredibly tiny piece of plot detail that we're given. White Martian bad, coming for Green Martian. I mean, I get that. But that's literally the only thing that's not 100% open to interpretation. And we're 3 issues in. And the stylistic choices throughout make it hard for me to get into. Weaving in and out, whether or not they're using dialogue bubbles or empty space, if the caption boxes are going to be white or black, if the dialogue boxes are going to be white or black. None of it for me flowed well at all. Every panel was can't think of the right word here, but it didn't flow well at all. I'm getting absolutely nothing from this book, unfortunately. For me, my rating is a 3 out of 10.
Oh shit.
There's just nothing here. There's like nothing. It's not even like this is okay, this is an average comic book. I appreciate your ability to fill in the blanks of a story.
I mean, I'm gonna say I'm not even filling in the blanks of who John Jones is. I'm thinking the
John Jones
idea.
is just this cop, but the character is Martian Manhunter.
No, that's
Who,
what I'm saying. I don't. I'm not
what
saying
is it?
who. I don't know who John Jones is, but I'm thinking the concept here is that's the plot is the mystery of who John Jones is, and that's the story that's going to be evolving throughout
Right, but
the issues. That's why
you
we
see
haven't
how,
found it in 3 issues. I get where you're coming from, and I completely understand your issue with that.
yeah, you even started that with I think.
Yeah, well, that's what I
Because
mean.
it's
Like,
completely open. You like we
yeah,
don't even know what the real story is. At least not for me, and it's probably just
yeah,
me going. You know, I mean,
I think that's just a personal opinion because like
yeah.
yeah,
it there are plenty of stories that have and are meant to be open to interpretation. Although I think this one is pretty straightforward with its messaging. It doesn't feel all that muddled. All the other stuff is just texture. Like it's the story itself is fairly basic, a lot more basic than whatever's going on in Flash. Not to beat a dead horse, but yeah, I don't know. I can understand where you're coming from. Taste is, as everyone says, very subjective.
yeah.
But I think, like, if you are engaged in the mystery and you want to see John continue to uncover what's happening to his mind and what kind of other predatory forces have come to harass Earth, then this book is for you. But if you're not invested in the mystery and feel like it's too much for you, then it won't be. But I think people are just like they're interested to see how far the madness will go. So
I maybe it's just the slow drip. But we'll have to see. It's just yeah, you know, honestly,
I have a feeling
it
issue
make
four
me
is going to
sound so
explode a bit
mamby
much.
pamby, but um, it's like how I can enjoy films like Heretic. You know, it's like if it's open to interpretation for the audience, for me, then you haven't done your job as a storyteller, and I know that's offensive to a lot of people. That's just the way
yeah, I
my
wonder
brain
how
works.
Isaiah would feel about that.
Oh, Isaiah hates it when I say that.
Yeah, that's like
We've gotten into arguments
the
even back when we did the movie
cardinal sin
podcast.
of any creative or of inspired person is I have to spell it out for my audience. I can't leave anything open to interpretation.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a difference between open to interpretation and easily just able to find out what happened off panel or off camera. But I mean, neither here nor there. Yeah, sorry to end it on such a sour note, but it honestly it's just one of those kinds of pieces of media that just aren't for me. At least not right now. Perhaps when it's collected and I'm able to read it like faster, perhaps it'll change. Hell, it could change next issue. You've seen me say yes to both Tom King and Josh Williamson before. Who knows what's possible?
Yeah, yeah.
Besides,
Anything
Dennis
can
Camp's.
happen.
I'm a fan of Dennis Camp anyway, so anything is possible. Yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Shall we move on to the top three, gentlemen?
Yeah.
As it seems that we are at the end of the show.
Let's do it.
All right, I guess
who
I
wants to
will go first.
All
Oh, Brandon, something went wrong and they're not being recorded anymore.
I don't know.
Would you refresh then rejoin, please? And you're back? Awesome. All right. Not sure what happened there, but I'm glad it popped the window up. Thanks for doing that. All right. I will kick it off with my top three, I guess. Third place went to Flash. Second place went to Green Lantern. First place went to Wonder Woman. And my favorite moment is going to be on the last page of The Flash, watching him and Grodd running together. That was pretty cool. After every panel of this kid on in the comic looking 100% terrified and scared shitless out of his mind, he finally caught a breath, and that looked good on him. Seeing him accepting what's coming, it looked good. I liked it.
Hell yeah. For me, top three is going to be Absolute Superman, then Absolute Wonder Woman, and then finally Absolute Martian Manhunter. Um, favorite moment? I don't know if I really have one. That's the thing. I don't know if there was anything that really stood out as a single moment for me, except maybe just for the shock of it, Guy Gardner getting disintegrated, because I did not think that was actually going to happen.
Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind.
Let's see. For me, I have Superman in third place, Martian Manhunter second place, and first place goes to Absolute Wonder Woman, which also is my favorite moment. The whole double page spread of Wonder Woman's ritual to summon the Hieron was just freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah, that
Like
was
Rob
really cool.
said, I love.
Yeah.
I mean, Wonder Woman has had connections to magic, yes, and was a part of Justice League Dark, and had some brief flirtations with rituals for anyone who's read the Hecate, though that's not magic. But I don't know. I like that this one is just like straight up a magician or a witch is more accurate. Like she's busted out spells. She's got the magic lasso. Like it's awesome.
Magic lassos.
Yeah, magic lasso.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine she knows quite a bit of magic being raised by Cersei.
Yeah, I mean, like we've only really seen the tip of the iceberg, so pretty cool.
Right? And just the tiny bit that we've seen has been some pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah,
Making an entire town go deaf, for example.
yeah, that was crazy.
That was really, really, really cool stuff. All right, well, I guess that's all of us, huh?
Yeah, that should keep that it.
Favorite cover? I know that I'm having a hard time picking between two of them. Myself, anyway. Batman's Freeze Jr. here looks super duper creepy. Not a fan. Green Lantern looks super cool. Not 100%. I guess that's Joe, and it's focusing on the ring,
Yeah,
kind of hinting at what it is. It's drawn really well. Superman looks really cool, but words. Absolute Flash is one of my favorites. Absolute Wonder Woman is another, and Absolute Martian Manhunter is just like, wow. If it's exactly like what you said. What hell, like 3 different times.
yeah,
Let me stamp on the cover what it is you're getting inside the story.
yeah,
Crazy art, bright colors, and a detective dude.
yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, it's right there out for you.
Yep. So, Superman is. I think because of the crazy washed out line work, I think I'm gonna go with the Flash.
Fair enough. That's a really cool one.
Yeah, the stuff here in the back, the multiple instances of him, that looks cool. And I love Grodd, dude. Grodd is so cool looking. Psychedelic little spider monkey.
Yeah.
Psychedelic. He's psychedelic.
Yeah.
I'm a dope. All right. And so, all right, yeah, I'm going to pick Absolute Flash. What do you guys think? Which one is your favorite?
I am torn between Martian Manhunter and Superman, because that Superman one is just
crazy.
Yeah, it is. What's the word I'm trying to think of? It is disturbing. It's
Yeah.
creepy.
Uh,
It's bone chilling.
right.
Oh man. But I also love the artwork for Martian Manhunter. I think I'm just gonna go with Superman because this is, I'm a sucker for covers to tell a story, and that one Superman's telling a story right there.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
Brandon.
in that case, I'm gonna go with Absolute Martian Manhunter. That's an easy pick. The covers have been phenomenal, but this one in
Mhm.
particular, I like, even if it is entirely irrelevant to the burning homeless people and everything else that goes on in this issue, like, it just aesthetically it looks cool. You know, it looks like a poster. So
I mean, it doesn't get specific, but yeah, like Rob and I were saying, it definitely tells you what you're getting in this book.
yeah.
There's a detective story and some crazy shit.
Yep.
That's it, man. Um, well, all right. Those excellent covers, excellent stories. I wish Martian Manhunter was more for me. My brain's allergic to avant-garde. But
Gesundheit.
exactly. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching. We will be back next week, covering all of the same stuff we usually do. Same geek time, same geek channel, which sometimes changes. And that's the show. We're getting out of here, so you will have to as well. Be careful out there. And remember, the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home in the Geek Matrix. You are not alone.
Peace.
Yeah.